Basic operation. You can use either the Start-Stop button or the foot control to operate the machine. Start-Stop button. Press the Start-Stop button to start or to stop the machine. The machine will run slowly while this button is pressed, and will start running at the speed set by the speed control slider when the button is released. Pressing the Start-Stop button again while the machine is running will slow down the machine, and it will stop when the button is released. The Start-Stop button does not work when the foot control is connected. Speed control. The machine is equipped with 2 ways of speed control for sewing. When the foot control is not being used, sewing speed is decided by the speed control slider. To decrease the speed, shift the slider to the left. Shift to the right to increase the speed. If you wish to use the foot control, turn the power switch off. Insert the pin connector into the jack on the machine. And turn the power switch on. The maximum sewing speed is decided by the speed control slider. If you set the slider to the slow position, this speed will be limited even if the foot control is depressed completely. This is useful for sewing tricky parts. Set the speed control slider at the fastest position and adjust the amount of foot control depression for normal sewing. Maximum embroidery speed in the embroidery mode is displayed on the Ready to Sew window. Reverse button. When these patterns are being sewn, the machine will sew in reverse as long as the reverse button is being pressed. To secure the beginning of stitching, press and hold down this button so that the machine will sew in reverse at the slower speed. When other patterns are selected, pressing the reverse button causes the machine to lock the stitch in place and stop automatically. Auto lock button. When these patterns have been selected, the machine immediately locks the stitch and will stop automatically by pressing the auto lock button. When other patterns are selected, the machine will sew to the end of the pattern being sewn, then lock the stitch and stop automatically. If you press the auto lock button before sewing, the machine will sew one stitch pattern and stop automatically. Needle up-down button. Press this button to raise or lower the needle. Thread cutter button. Press this button to trim the threads after sewing. The needle will rise automatically after trimming the threads. Raise the presser foot lifter. Remove the fabric and draw it to the back. You can sew the next stitch without pulling the bobbin thread up. If you use thick threads or the twin needle, use the thread cutter on the faceplate. Pull the threads up and slip them between the thread cutter and faceplate from behind. Pull the threads toward you to cut. Presser foot lifter. The presser foot lifter raises and lowers the presser foot. You can raise the presser foot higher than the normal up position. This helps you to place thick fabrics under the foot. Thread tension. Select the stitch pattern to show the optimized thread tension. Adjust the thread tension dial to the number shown on the screen. However, you may need to adjust the tension manually depending on the type of fabric and number of layers. The ideal straight stitch has threads locked between 2 layers of fabric. For an ideal zigzag stitch, the needle thread shows slightly on the wrong side of the fabric. If the needle thread is too tight, the bobbin thread appears on the right side of the fabric. Turn the dial to a lower number to loosen the needle thread tension. If the needle thread is too loose, the needle thread loops on the wrong side of the fabric. Turn the dial to a higher number to tighten the needle thread tension. Adjusting the foot pressure. Select the stitch pattern to show the optimized presser foot pressure. Adjust the presser foot pressure dial to the number shown on the screen. The smaller the number, the weaker the pressure. Adjust the presser foot pressure value to the thickness of the fabric, elasticity of the fabric, or special sewing methods.